global cryptocurrency enthusiast, wherever you are. It says 88 Fantastic, coming to you June 12th, 2019. Today we're just going to do a market forecast, what we're seeing right now. We're going to go over our long term for what we had called for the rest of June and the first half of July. And let's have a quick look at our market here. So we currently see the market sitting at 261.6 billion with a 66 billion per 24-hour trading. Really nice, really healthy to see, as we were really struggling to break that 255 billion mark. Every time we hit that since basically May 30th, we had bounced completely backwards off of it. One of those things, I was talking with my day trader buddy the other night, and he's still watching individual prices and waiting and waiting and waiting, when literally you could be just watching the market and fully expect when everything's going to move and when everything is going to dump. And this morning, or I guess a few hours ago, this is when we seen the really nice surge. We finally broke that 255 and 258 mark and finally started to scale back up a little bit. So let's have a looky and see where the money's going, and then we're going to talk about our June forecast and early July forecast that we had predicted a few weeks ago, and to see right where we are in there. Really nice to see Bitcoin actually break that 8,000 and hold it for the last probably 10 days or so. Every time BTC had hit 8,000, it had been dropped backwards and scraped and clawed its way all the way back up from 78 to 8,000 just to get bounced again. We do see a bit of a scale back in the last hour though, because XRP had broken 40 cents. Litecoin was just at about 140. What else do we got here? Binance coin is still going strong. We're back at the price we were at about 3 weeks ago finally. BSV was well in the 225 range. Cardano was well over 11. Now why am I saying this? Because we got all this money, and other than a little bit into Bitcoin, a nice little chunk into Litecoin, there's been nothing else literally up until this morning in the top 25. So that brings us back. Okay, you know what? Let's do our 24 hours here for you guys, because you're probably used to that. We see Grisha coming in. We see Zcoin. Zcoin's actually had a couple of days in a row, so it wasn't just literally one day. As you can see by its chart, at least it had some movement from more than one day. And again, of course, Maximine is always in there with its little bit of volume and outrageous. Look, I mean, you can just tell by looking at its chart, that is just all pump and dump. So hopefully you're in there and being safe with it. Okay, so let's get to the point of why there's money in the market and why this still scares the shit out of me. Okay, so anyways, let's look at our 24-hour volume. That is the key indicator to begin with. And again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Always do your own due diligence. Go to my About section and check it out there for my disclaimer. What scares me, again, and I've always said this probably since early March, as we've called April, May, first week of June, right to the dollar. The money is still not going, for me as an outside onlooker, the money is still not going into the right areas. So when we had come out and said that, here is our overall market for the last, for 3 months, as you can see, for March. And here is our 1 year from March of last year. And I've always said 2019 is a mirror image of what we saw in March, April, May, and June of last year. This right here is the exact same thing that we're going through right here, just at a different volume. So in a couple of videos ago, what we do on this channel is we like to forecast, predict, assume, whatever you want to call it, 6 to 8 weeks in advance. So when we did our March, April video, we had called all of, let's go back to this chart. We had called all of April, all of May, until the very end of May, sideways up. Sideways up, sideways up, sideways up. Then when we said when you got to the very end of May, up till June the 5th, we were going to get two massive kicks to the balls in the market. May 30th, we saw a $30 billion dump. June 3rd, we saw another $30 billion dump. Okay, so where does that bring us to today? In a video a couple of weeks ago, we had put out our June and July forecast, and I had said, and I'm sticking to it because I haven't seen anything to change this yet. It's gross, and this is what denies me subs, because people just want people to come in and tell them how great the market is. The week of June the 14th to June the 20th, we've been saying it for a while now, that is going to be the absolutely ugliest time of the year we're going to see for 2019. I fully expect this, if we're lucky, we're going to crawl all the way back up to hopefully 270, 275, and then sometime next week, in a 2-day span, we are going to see back-to-back days of absolutely speed bagging. So let's, I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to show you how I come up with my mathematical formulas, because if I did that, everyone else is going to piggyback off that, and I ain't going to make a fucking penny off it, so why show it? So I'm going to tell you right now, we're probably going to lose 17% off the market, okay? So right now we're sitting at 261, and let's see where we are for, oh God, it's going to be worse than that. Somewhere in there. So between our market cap by June 20th in those 2 days that I'm still assuming we're going to get speed bag for, our 261, we're going to end up between, I still think 217 might be a little bit low, but it wouldn't shock me to see this entire market drop back down between the 220 billion and 225 billion, and that will last probably up until the first week of July. The first week of July, so for me, I've got three massive indicators. The week of June the 14th to June 20th is the first indicator. The second indicator is going to be right in the middle of July. Those are the next two speed bags that we're looking at. In between those dates, we should see some very nice, very healthy growth. And then the third indicator is going to be right after September long weekend, and that should be the last indicator that we have, and the market should really move forwards after that September long weekend. So that's how we call it on the channel. We don't call the individual price per day and oh my God, this is what happened today. And then, because in this market, 3 days after that, it's irrelevant anyways. And then, as always, we always say, come to the present video and work your way backwards. So again, just to end the video on what we fully expect, June the 14th to June the 20th to be absolutely, there'll be a 2-day span in there that will be the absolute ugliest that we see for the entire 2019 season. And then we should see our steady growth work its way all the way back up until we reach that middle point of July. And we'll talk about that as we get closer. There'll be a lot of heavy push, and then there'll be another just absolutely massive, like seriously $30-40 billion dump right in that time period. And then that's the last one I expect literally ever again. It sounds weird, but again, we mix and match mathematical formulas, data, world information, what's going on everywhere, and then you mix those two with the cryptocurrency world along with the real world activity, and that's how we come up with our timelines, and everything has been absolutely accurate since we started doing videos in January. Again, I put out the question, I put out the challenge, and we've had probably 400 to 450 different viewers come on and look at these, and not one person can come out here and take me up on the challenge of go back to March before all the money came back into the market, and everybody you followed said Bitcoin was going back to 4,000, 2250, 1350, and 750 was the biggest popular fucking number. And where are those people now? I guarantee you all those people that said that in March and the first 2 days of April are also the same people that have completely flipped their fucking thought process and start pumping up the market right now. So again, you come to this channel, I'm trying to be as honest and open and transparent as absolutely possible. I don't jazz anything unless it earns my respect and my trust coming from the business world of reality. And in an unregulated wild, wild west of cryptocurrency, we all know anything can happen at any given time. So we've been right on, and I thank everybody for coming out and checking it out. I'm sorry I didn't pop up any news. We just wanted to go over the absolute market and, again, talk about how we've been discussing how we were going to go sideways up, then sideways down. But when we went sideways down, we had much stronger lines of support. And all that means is finally some of the new people in the space are actually holding rather than panic selling like in 2018, and they panic sold and they got cycled out, right? So it's one of those ones you got to be happy with what you're investing in. We showed you in our bomb review how to get started, how can you get something, is it trustworthy? Is it worth working 80 hours every 2 weeks and put some of your hard-earned money into these things? That's where you as the potential investor need to come out and watch the videos and go through this with me and try to be as safe as possible. So that's all I got for you guys today. This is 88 Fantastic, showing you how to take a bite out of the cryptocurrency market. Take care, y'all.